This podcast is recorded in Honolulu, Hawaii. I acknowledge that the land I live on and work on, known as Kakako, is part of the Ancestral Aina, or land of the Kanaka Maoli, the indigenous people of Hawaii. Aloha, beautiful humans, and welcome back to Conversations with Thomas. I'm your host, Thomas Kevin Dolan. My pronouns are he and him. This podcast is a peek into my beautifully messy, occasionally profound, often hilarious journey where I talk about the things you've likely thought but never heard anyone actually admit, at least not with a microphone on. Sharing this weird, wonderful truth brings me real joy and at times, a tinge of anxiety. Yet here we are. 31 episodes of truth-telling, storytelling, and sometimes oversharing. I'm thrilled you're with me. Today's theme, Flawsome. That beautiful, messy, liberating concept popularized by an author. His name is Timber Hawkeye in his book, The Opposite of Namaste. My husband reads to me every day, and yesterday he read the chapter where Timber talks about being flawsome. So I decided to turn it into this podcast. Flawsome is the idea that you can be flawed and awesome, not in spite of your flaws, but because of them. A concept so freeing, it should actually come with a warning label. May cause radical self-acceptance. So let's start here. You're not broken. You're becoming. We're going to dig into what it means, why it matters, and how embracing your mess just might be your magic. Hawkeye defines Flawsome as owning your imperfections while still recognizing your worth. He doesn't ask us to bypass the messy, but to actually do this. Integrate it. Think of it like this. You're a limited edition, just like a misprinted Pokemon card, valuable because of your quirks, not in spite of them. So what does it mean to be flawsome? It means making peace with your imperfections, owning your quirks, and realizing that no one is coming to give you a gold star for hiding your humanity. Here's the catch. Being flawsome doesn't mean giving yourself a pass to be a jerk. It means owning your stuff and showing up anyways. Psychologically speaking, self-acceptance is a huge predictor of emotional well-being. And according to the amazing Dr. Kristen Neff, a pioneer in self-compassion research, people like you and me who embrace their flaws with kindness are less likely to suffer from depression, anxiety, and shame. Neff calls it common humanity, the understanding that imperfection is part of the shared human experience. Or, as I like to say, nobody's got their shit together. We've all just found better containers. Here's a fun fact. Your brain literally calms down when you respond to yourself with compassion instead of criticism. It reduces cortisol and increases oxytocin, your brain's "you got this" hormone. I used to think being seen as too emotional or too soft, okay, homophobically speaking, too gay, was a liability, especially as a gay man in a world that celebrates polished or toxic masculinity. But the more I've embraced the full spectrum of me, tears and laughter, self-doubt and sass, the more peace I've found. And let me tell you, peace is sexier than abs. So how do we begin to be flawsome? Let's do a quick little practice together. No need to light candles or rearrange your crystals unless you want to. Just take a breath and follow along. There's 3 simple steps to this. Step 1. Think of one thing you often criticize yourself for. Here's a few of mine. I talk too much. I cry too easily. I procrastinate. Or I'm awkward in groups, especially groups that are bigger than 6. For you, just name one. Got it? Step 2. Now gently ask yourself, what's the flawsome side of this? What might be good, honest, or even lovable about it? My 4, I talk too much, might mean I'm passionate and expressive. I cry too easily might mean this heart of mine is wide open. I procrastinate might be I value reflection before action. I'm awkward in groups could be I'm sincere, not scripted. Step 3. And perhaps you want to write this one down. I'm not perfect, yet I am blank. The key to this, I'm not perfect, yet I am blank, is for you to be real, be kind. Those two things are crucial. I might say, I'm not perfect, yet I am real. Or, I'm not perfect, yet I'm growing. Or my fave, I'm not perfect, yet I am fabulously flawed and showing up anyway. So notice if you feel a shift, or for that matter, feel that shit. That's you being Flawsome. Let's stretch this out a little bit more. Flawsome isn't just a trendy hashtag or a clever mashup of words. I think it's a philosophy, one that invites us to stop auditioning for love, belonging, and approval by actually pretending to be flawless. I lived a shit ton of my life pretending to be flawless. And what it got me was the furthest distance from authentic Thomas. And also, it actually got me to feel very much alone in my life. Because, of course, as I pretended to be flawless, those around me, although they never told me, as they would walk away in groups and I'd be left standing there, I'm sure that they said to each other, oh, he's such an asshole and he thinks he's flawless. Because, spoiler alert, nobody's buying the act. Not even your dog. And dogs love everything. So let's talk about some famously Flawsome folks. Say that 3 times. Famously Flawsome folks. I thought Leonardo da Vinci, a genius who left most of his projects as history uncovers, leaves most of his projects unfinished. Seriously, the man had the attention span of a caffeinated squirrel. Yes, was he brilliant? Abso-friggin-lutely. Lucille Ball, known for her slapstick charm and wild expressions, she actually made a career of messing up and making it beautiful. I remember watching reels of bloopers that actually were part of the magic that Lucille Ball brought to the world. Fred Rogers, oh, Fred Rogers, a gentle soul who once said, there is no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are. He was quiet, awkward, wore cardigans unironically, and he was perfect because of it. These folks didn't wait until they were ready. They didn't let the fear of being seen in their humanness stop them. That's Flawsome. You don't need fixing. I don't need fixing. You need truth. I need truth. I've spent 20 plus years coaching folks who are done pretending and are ready to be real. Messy, curious, beautifully human. Let's consider turning your flaws into magic. I invite you to book a discovery session at thomaskevindolan.com. Let's begin. Let me center us back on the topic of Flawsome. I once, this is so embarrassing to tell you this. I once sent a text about my massive inner growth to my coach, and autocorrect changed it to massive inner groin. Flawsome in action, folks. And yes, we still laugh about it. Within Sufi mysticism, there's the idea that the beloved, what some call God or the divine, universe, nature, whatever it is for you, loves us despite our flaws, but through them. Loves us not despite our flaws, but through them. Our cracks are not imperfections to be fixed, but openings through which love can flow. Rumi wrote this: don't get lost in your pain. Know that one day your pain will become your cure. So if you're feeling messy, undone, or gloriously human today, good. That's the epicenter. That's the starting point to where the sacred work can begin. And if you need a fellow traveler for that heart-centered Flawsome journey, I know a coach. Confession time. And this is another bit of crap that is embarrassing, but I've laughed at it many, many times. I was invited to speak, and they billed me as a quote unquote top life coach. During my introductory remarks, I referred to myself as a life couch instead of life coach. Of course, I meant to say coach. But you know what? A life couch might actually be more accurate. I hold space. People sit with me. And sometimes they just need a good cry into the cushions. Oy. The audience loved it. And it was an opportunity for me to be real, to be authentic, to laugh at myself, and ultimately think to myself, I sometimes think the couch description is a little bit more divine than the coach description. So here's your loving, flawed, and fully human invitation. For God's sake, be unapologetically you. Let your mess become your message. Let your cracks be your crown. And the next time you feel like you have to hide your imperfections to be worthy, remember, you don't have to be flawless to be fabulous. You just have to be real. Thanks for tuning in to episode 31 of Conversations with Thomas. If this episode gave you a little light or a lot of laughter, I want to invite you to share it with a friend, or even better, share it with your inner critic. Keep showing up, keep shining, and keep being beautifully flawsome. These conversations are here to inspire and support, but they're not a replacement for professional care. If you're navigating through tough mental stuff, and in this world today, I just listened to a podcast with Ocean Vuong, whose new book is The Emperor of Gladness, said if we in the 21st century aren't sad, there might be something wrong. So if you're navigating some tough mental stuff, please reach out to a licensed therapist or healthcare provider. This podcast is created with a lot of love, lived experience, and just enough research to keep things curious. And with the added tech magic of my wonderful husband, Adam Ma, my co-executive producer. It's one of the ways that Conversations with Thomas gets plugged into the world. So until next time, friend, take a breath, soften your shoulders, and know you're doing better than you think.